This is The Warning.
Donald Trump is being hailed across the American media as a peacemaker. Here's the cover of Time magazine. Time magazine, of course, is owned by the billionaire Mark Benioff, CEO of Salesforce. All of the billionaires are media hobbyists. There's Larry and David Ellison at Paramount, CBS, Barry Weiss News. And remember, the news judgment of Barry Weiss is very simple to appreciate. She looks at the world and she thinks the greatest threat is the faculty lounge room at Harvard and Greta Thunberg, not the fascist at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And by the way, when you think about it, whether it's at Facebook, whether it's at Amazon, all of these billionaire oligarchs use their media platforms as lobbying tools to seek favor. The man who is saying that he brought peace to the Middle East is the same man who said he won an election that he lost, and is the same man whose henchmen and women are saying that federal ICE agents are engaged in hand-to-hand combat across the war taking place in America's cities. None of it is real.
Do you tie a direct line between the rhetoric from people like Mayor Johnson and other Democrats to the actual increase in assaults and the threat of violence?
Oh, absolutely. He's giving them air cover. He's giving them air cover so they can go out and keep committing crimes. It's wrong. There should be consequences for that and for leaders that stand up and knowingly lie about the situation on the ground. This is a war zone. His city is a war zone, and he's lying so that criminals can go in there and destroy people's lives. Those individuals that live there are waking up to it. They understand that where we have gone, we've made it much more free. People are much safer. We've got 1,000 criminals that are off the streets of Chicago just because we've been there.
All of it is a stupendous stew of lies. So how do you interpret the news brought to you by billionaire oligarchs that declare the biggest loser to ever be president of the United States, a man who has lied tens of thousands of times, who is incoherent, who is boastful, and who cannot be trusted, declares a war which has raged for a millennia is over? Does that pronouncement make it real? Or is it just another day of fantasy and make-believe in the sick and twisted game that has become the news in America and that follows our politics? The strangest reality show there has ever been. Now, without question, the return of the hostages seized by the evil terrorist organization Hamas is a good thing. But it is also the case that 50 or 60 or 70 or 80,000 people at least were killed in Gaza. What lies beneath the rubble? Is it a foundation for peace or for more rage, for more hate, for more killing? While Donald Trump is being celebrated across the American media, Hamas killers apparently emerged from the rubble and began executing people. That is not peace. Peace in the most dangerous and complicated part of the world is not something that is easily accomplished by idiots and imbeciles. But Donald Trump let us all in on a little secret. When sitting in Egypt, he pointed at the Emiratis and he said they have all the money in the world. Indeed, the Saudis gave Jared Kushner $2 billion. They put it into an investment fund that he just used to accomplish the leveraged buyout of Electronic Arts for $55 billion. The amount of our money flowing in and out of Mar-a-Lago, in and out of American politics is staggering. It's so staggering that the Qataris have been able to buy themselves an airbase, maybe, on American soil, depending on what day of the week it is. Certainly it's the case that Pete Hegseth announced that there was to be a Qatari airbase before there wasn't. All of what you are seeing at some level is a fantasy. Leaders who have no upside in confronting Trump, instead indulging him. And all of it is a transaction, a corrupt act. Jared Kushner is developing the Albanian coastline and has aspirations to bring Trump Gaza to life. Do you remember this crazy video?
Tunnels coming to set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza #1. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza #1.
Peace is something that should be sought always by all people of good faith and goodwill. In fact, goodwill to all people is a central tenet of all religious faith. But we should not pretend, and the American media should not be the pretenders on their knees, celebrating the vanity of a man who somehow, as the guns fall silent, has made a war that followed a vicious terrorist attack that killed tens of thousands of people about him. There is no greater sign of the decay and the corruption of our age that the American people would process this war of the last 2 years and come to the conclusion in the end that what it was about all along was Trump. Think about that. Does it make sense? Well, if it does, then it probably makes sense to you that peace is at hand, and it was brought by Donald Trump. In Israel, Donald is being hailed as Cyrus the Great. Here in America, there are millions that think he's Jesus. But here's the truth. He's an adjudicated rapist and a convicted felon and a liar who's making up things about there being a war in Portland while pointing guns at the heads of American citizens and claiming he's a king. So maybe this weekend, instead of sitting around, go outside, put the phone down, pick up a flag and march for your rights. Stand up for them. And for your country, stand up for her. Because Donald Trump is no hero and he's no peacemaker. He's a degenerate fascist and he's threatened the American people, all of us. And he's locking up his political opponents and he's let his attack dogs off their leash. Don't ever call that man a peacemaker, because the peace that Donald Trump envisions involves bringing a jackboot down on your head if you dare to think Donald Trump isn't someone I want to get on my knees for. This is The Warning.
I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning. I invite you to join this community where I promise to be honest, blunt, and direct about what is happening in this country. America is in crisis. Follow and subscribe to this channel and on Substack. Thank you.